Imagine walking into a room full of strangers and feeling invisible. No one knows your name. No one asks how you're doing. Over a quarter of adults admit they have no close friends. Why does loneliness cling to some while others thrive in bustling circles? Is it a hidden brain wiring, a childhood scar, or a cultural myth we keep repeating? In the next few minutes, we'll crack the secret codes behind social isolation, bust the stereotypes that blame awkwardness, and reveal what you can actually do to reach the people who feel unseen. Ready to uncover the truth? Ever felt the room freeze when you speak, like nobody even sees you? That's not a flaw, it's a hidden wiring of the brain, and it's about to get ripped wide open. In the next few minutes, you'll discover the 3 invisible forces that push people into friendless zones. Smash the myth that they're just weird, and learn the exact moves you can make to crack that isolation wide open. Stay tuned, because what you uncover could change the way you reach out and maybe even save a life. Picture a bustling party where laughter ripples across the room, yet one person lingers at the edge, unnoticed. That silence isn't a sign of personal flaw, it's a signal from a brain wired for self-protection. Scientists have uncovered 3 hidden mechanisms that often keep friendships at bay: hypervigilant threat detection, muted reward response, and maladaptive attachment scripts. First, the threat detector. When the amygdala flags social cues as dangerous, even a friendly smile can feel like a hidden jab. This heightened alertness triggers a cascade of cortisol, freezing conversation before it even starts. It isn't shyness, it's a survival instinct gone rogue. Second, the reward circuit. Dopamine-rich pathways light up when we receive social affirmation. For some, that spark fizzles out, leaving interactions feeling flat, unrewarding. The brain learns to conserve energy, opting out of future outreach because the payoff seems negligible. Third, the attachment blueprint. Early experiences with caregivers shape internal models of trust. Insecure or disorganized attachment can produce an internal script that reads, "People will abandon me," prompting pre-emptive withdrawal. The script runs on autopilot, overriding conscious desire for connection. All 3 mechanisms intertwine, creating an invisible barrier that most outsiders can't see. That's why common myths, they're just antisocial, they're lazy, they never try, miss the mark. The problem isn't a lack of effort, it's a misaligned neurosocial wiring. Reframe the narrative. Instead of labeling someone as friendless, view them as navigating a hidden maze of neural signals. Compassion becomes the map, not the judgment. By recognizing the underlying circuitry, we can shift from blame to support, offering environments that lower threat, amplify reward, and gently rewrite attachment scripts. Imagine offering a low-stakes gathering where conversation is optional, where small wins, like a shared laugh over a meme, light up that dormant dopamine flash. Picture a mentor who validates past hurts, gently reshaping the internal script from "I'll be left behind" to "I'm safe to stay." Those are the exact moves that crack the isolation wide open. In the next moments, we'll explore concrete strategies to create those safe spaces, to spark the brain's reward loop, and to help rewired attachment patterns bloom into lasting friendships. The journey starts with understanding the hidden code, not the surface label. What if the problem isn't that you can't find friends, but that your brain's wiring is sending the wrong signals? Let's pull back the curtain on 3 hidden mechanisms that lock people out of social circles, then hand you the exact tools to flip the switch. First hidden driver, the attachment alarm. When early caregivers are inconsistent, the brain's safe connection detector stays on high alert. Every unfamiliar face triggers a subtle fight or flight pulse, flooding the body with cortisol. The result, a reflex to step back before anyone can even say hello. That's why many lonely people describe the first minutes of a gathering as a cold plunge rather than a warm welcome. Second, the reward loop short circuit. Social interactions normally fire dopamine pathways, rewarding us with a feel-good buzz. For some, chronic anxiety or past rejection rewires that circuit so the anticipated social reward, actually registers as a threat. The brain predicts pain, not pleasure, and the dopamine surge never arrives. In practice, a simple coffee chat feels like a high-stakes audition, and the brain shuts the door before the conversation even starts. Third, the self-schema filter. Negative beliefs about one's own worth act like a distortion lens, magnifying every perceived slip-up while erasing moments of connection. A comment about a shared hobby gets dismissed as they're just being nice. While a brief pause is cataloged as "I'm boring," this bias creates a self-fulfilling prophecy. The more you expect rejection, the more you withdraw, and the fewer opportunities you have to prove the belief wrong. Now let's turn theory into action. Start with micro-connections that bypass the alarm system. A 5-minute check-in at a coworker's desk, no agenda. Just a shared observation, keeps cortisol spikes low and builds a safety net. Pair that with a reward reset ritual. After each brief interaction, note one positive detail in a journal. The act of recording triggers dopamine release, slowly retraining the brain to associate social moments with reward. Finally, dismantle the self-filter with a 3-step challenge. 1. Identify a single negative thought. 2. Counter it with concrete evidence. 3. Test the new script in a low-stakes setting, like a hobby group. Repeating this loop rewrites the internal narrative, opening the floodgates for genuine connection. The takeaway: social isolation isn't a character flaw. It's a cascade of neuropsychological safeguards gone rogue. By targeting the alarm, the reward, and the filter, you can help anyone, yourself included, break free from the invisible cage and step into the friendships they've been missing. Ever notice the lone figure in the corner, scrolling on their phone while everyone else mingles? That quiet presence isn't a lack of desire, it's a signal from a brain that's misreading the room. Let's crack open the 3 hidden mechanisms that keep friendship out of reach. Then hand you practical tools to flip the switch. Mechanism 1: the overactive alarm. When the amygdala fires on every social cue, a simple smile can feel like a spotlight of judgment. Studies show that people who report chronic isolation have heightened threat detection circuits, turning neutral gestures into perceived slights. The result: a reflex to retreat before anyone can even say hello. What to do? Teach the brain a new safety net. Grounding exercises, counting breaths, naming 5 objects in view interrupt the alarm loop. Pair them with cognitive reappraisal drills. That laugh wasn't at me. It was at the joke. Small, repeated exposures to low-stakes gatherings gradually recalibrate the threat sensor. Mechanism 2: the dull reward engine. Dopamine pathways light up for food, money, and sex, but for some, social interaction barely registers. After a brief chat, they feel exhausted rather than energized. Neuroimaging reveals reduced activation in the ventral striatum during group activities, explaining why the fun factor fizzles. What to do: pair social moments with already rewarding activities. A coffee run, a shared playlist, or a brief game injects dopamine spikes, teaching the brain that people can be a source of pleasure. Keep encounters micro-sized, 5 minutes of genuine eye contact, then a graceful exit. Over time, the brain learns to tag friendship with a positive signal. Mechanism 3: the hyper-filtering filter. The default mode network can become a relentless analyst, replaying every word, every pause, searching for hidden meanings. One missed emoji becomes a catastrophic narrative. They ignored me, they don't like me, I'm a loser. This endless loop freezes action. What to do: introduce the good enough rule. After sending a message, set a timer 30 seconds, then move on, regardless of imagined outcomes. Mind mapping apps can capture worries in a single snapshot, then be closed, preventing rumination from hijacking the present moment. Myth-busting moment: loneliness isn't a character flaw. It's a neuro-behavioral pattern that can be rewired. The brain's alarm, reward, and filter systems are plastic, not fixed. How to support someone stuck in this loop? Offer predictable, low-pressure invitations. Let's grab a quick coffee at 10 a.m. Just for 10 minutes, celebrate tiny wins. A smile returned, a brief laugh shared. Keep check-ins brief and consistent. Reliability builds safety faster than grand gestures. You now hold the map to the hidden code that keeps friendships at bay. By calming the alarm, boosting the reward, and silencing the overfilter, anyone, yourself included, can step out of the invisible cage and into genuine connection. The next conversation you have could be the first brick in a new social foundation. What if the evidence you've been waiting for is already inside the brain's wiring? Recent neuroimaging studies show that people who report chronic social isolation light up the amygdala, the alarm center, far more than their socially connected peers, even during neutral interactions. Simultaneously, the ventral striatum, the region that lights up when we anticipate reward, stays dim. In plain terms, their brain screams danger while refusing to celebrate the prospect of friendship. One longitudinal study followed 1,200 adults for 5 years. Those with heightened amygdala activity were 40% more likely to remain friendless, even after controlling for income, health, and personality traits. The data aren't anecdotal, they're repeatable patterns across cultures and ages. You might hear, "That's just shyness, just push harder and it'll disappear." The flaw in that objection is the assumption that willpower alone can silence a hyper-vigilant alarm system. Imagine trying to start a car with the brakes engaged. The engine may rev, but the vehicle never moves. Cognitive behavioral interventions that target the alarm, like graded exposure to low-stakes social settings, have shown a 30% improvement in friendship formation over 6 months. Far outperforming "just be more outgoing" advice. Another common pushback: people choose to be alone. They're fine, yet surveys reveal that 78% of self-identified loners cite a sense of being misunderstood, not a lack of desire. When the brain's reward circuitry is retrained through positive social feedback, even those who claimed contentment report a surge in genuine connection. So where do we go from here? First, map the 3 covert levers. Alarm, reward, and filter. Second, give each a tiny, manageable tweak. Start with a 5-minute social micro-challenge, like asking a barista how their day is going while monitoring heart rate. Notice the spike, then breathe, and let the alarm settle. Next, pair that moment with a small, immediate reward. A mental note of "I did it," or a quick text to a trusted friend celebrating the effort. Finally, loosen the filter by deliberately sharing one personal detail in a low-risk conversation, observing the reaction, and reminding yourself that the brain's worst-case predictions rarely materialize. Repeat this loop daily, and the neural pathways will begin to rewrite themselves. In weeks, the alarm quiets, the reward lights up, and the filter opens just enough to let genuine friendship slip through. Your next conversation could be the spark that rewires the whole system. Take away this: the brain's alarm, reward center, and social filter are not fixed. They can be nudged toward openness. By calming the alarm, amplifying the reward of genuine contact, and loosening the overprotective filter, the loneliness cage starts to crack. Your next genuine smile or listening pause can be the first brick of a new network. If a tiny habit feels doable, maybe a 5-minute coffee chat, try it today and watch the shift. Drop your experiment below and subscribe for more research-driven routes out of isolation.